What's your 20 story?
My 20 story would be a lot of love, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of travel, a lot of discovering myself with career and just getting myself to a point where I'm able to establish and move, I think, very intentionally coming to the end of my 20s.
You touch on a lot of things and your career, traveling, love, breakup. How were you able to find your career, like the career path you're on right now?
Through a lot of trial and error, through a lot of just chucking myself in the deep end. And I think that's something that a lot of the time when I hear younger people ask me for advice, they're scared of, like, I don't know how I should do it, I don't know what I should do. When it was my decision back in the day, whether I wanted to work somewhere, I just made sure that I did it. Whether I failed or succeeded, I learned along the way. And I'm grateful for all those losses and I'm grateful for all those wins.
So what gave you that confidence? Have you always been confident from a young age?
I think so, yeah. To be honest with you, yeah. I've always been like outspoken, I've always been charismatic, I've been told. So I feel like it comes from, like I just met yourself. We could just have a conversation. I feel like it's one of the most important skills for a young man's life, especially a young person's life, period. But especially as a man, I feel like it's very important to conduct yourself properly, whether it be public or privately, because respect goes a long way. And I feel like I've earned a lot of respect over my years with what I do.
So you touch on being a man, and who taught you how to be a man?
A bit of my grandfather, a bit of myself, a bit of movies, the music I listen to, the way I dress and establish myself. I feel like it helps you become the gentleman that you want to become. I think we all would like to be honored and seen in a good light by anybody, whatever gender you are. So I feel like, but as a man, we carry a lot of self-pride. So I feel like being who you say you are is really important.
So let's go back. You touch on breakup. So how were you?
This guy won the life story for real.
So how were you able to put yourself through this moment? Because let's be honest, breakup is quite a hard thing, especially for people in the early 20s where you're going through uncertainty in life. So how were you able to put yourself through this moment?
I'm grateful that through those moments, it taught me that you can outgrow people. And I think most of the time when you have the sudden shock of like somebody not necessarily wanting to leave you, but it's becoming a more mutual understanding, that unfortunately all the things that you've been through together, you're going to have to dilly depart. And that is a beautiful thing. If you lead with your life with a lot of love, as I do, I'm sure you do, you tend to understand. I think like when you go through heartbreak, it definitely teaches you a lot about yourself and how you're able to move with grace. It's not easy, it doesn't make it any easier, but obviously when you lead your life with love and it's abundant in that sense, I do feel like you emptied your cup for someone, but your heart is infinite. You have infinite levels of love you can give. And I encourage young people to, any age actually, to practice love in every sense. Love what you do for work, love what you do in your house, in your home, outside in public. When you say thank you to somebody, mean it with your whole chest, you know what I mean? And I really do live like that. For the people that know me, they know I really do live in a way that where I love like everything I do,
And what was something you discovered in your late 20s but didn't know in your early 20s?
Islam. I reverted to Islam last year. It's been a question for me my whole life. I've always asked like, is this for me, Are you religious?
Yeah.
You practicing?
Yeah.
You're Christian? From born or?
Not since day one.
Since day one, yeah. So for yourself, for example, maybe it came from family. Maybe as you grew up, you became stronger in faith. You had to question yourself. You had to question, is it because of family or is it because of myself? And that's a beautiful thing. Mine was more that, with the lack of pressure, being a religion or a faith, you had to find it for myself. So when I was in my early teens, I was Buddhist. When my first girlfriend was Catholic. So you kind of establish yourself through many means of faith, or I guess what you submit to. But yeah, for me, you know, alhamdulillah, I reverted last year, and I would say one of the main things would be my ever-growing faith and closeness with God.
Describe your 20s with one word.
Describe my 20s with one word. My one word would be intentional.